So the big surprise isn't really a surprise at all. Just hours before Google's big event, every major price tag for the Pixel 10 lineup, the Pixel Watch 4, and even the Pixel Buds 2a has already leaked. And the twist? Almost nothing has changed compared to last year. That's huge, because usually, with each new generation, we brace ourselves for higher prices, especially with storage upgrades and premium foldables. But according to this leak, Google is keeping things steady. The Pixel 10 starts at $799, the same entry point as the Pixel 9, and even the high-end Pro models stick to familiar territory. Here's the breakdown. The base Pixel 10 comes in at $799 for 128 gigs, or $899 if you want to double that storage. The Pixel 10 Pro kicks off at $999 for 128 gigs, $1,099 for 256 gigs, $1,219 for half a terabyte, and $1,449 for the big 1 TB version. Now, the Pixel 10 Pro XL skips the cheapest 128 GB option, so it actually starts at $1,199, which is $100 more than the entry-level 9 Pro XL from last year. Still, the rest of the pricing matches up exactly. Then we get to the foldable. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold keeps the same prices as last year for the 256GB and 512GB models, $1,799 and $1,919, but this year there's also a massive 1 terabyte option priced at $2,149. And while that sounds painful, remember Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 7 with the same storage cost $2,419. So in a strange way, Google is undercutting Samsung in the ultra-premium foldable space. Now let's shift to the wearables. The Pixel Watch 4 will cost exactly the same as the Watch 3. That's $349 for the 41mm Wi-Fi model, $499 for the bigger 45mm version, $449 if you want LTE on the smaller size, and $599 if you want LTE on the larger one. No surprises, no jumps. And that puts it a little cheaper than Apple's upcoming Series 10 and likely Series 11. For anyone already in the Pixel ecosystem, that's good news. Google isn't making it harder to buy in. On the audio side, the Pixel Buds 2a will land at $129, which is $30 more than the original A series at launch. That increase isn't ideal, but it's still cheaper than Samsung's Galaxy Buds 3 FE, so if you're after affordable wireless earbuds, Google is still keeping things competitive. Accessories got leaked too. We're looking at the Pixel Snap Ring Stand for $29.99, the Pixel Snap Charger at $39.99, a Pixel Flex 67-watt charger for $59.99, and a $69.99 Pixel Snap Charger with stand. That last one sounds pricey, but it matches Apple's MagSafe lineup in positioning. Clearly, Google's strategy is to sit shoulder to shoulder with Apple and Samsung instead of racing them up or down in pricing. So why does all this matter? Because consistency in pricing is actually a big deal in 2025. The smartphone industry has been on a trend where every year feels more expensive than the last. Samsung, Apple, even smaller players like OnePlus, everyone nudges up pricing when new features arrive. But Google's move here suggests they're prioritizing stability. They want you to feel confident upgrading without worrying that the next-gen Pixel will suddenly cost hundreds more. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean Google is being generous. They're not cutting prices, just holding steady. The Pixel 10 Pro XL losing its cheaper 128 GB option is a reminder that Google still wants to push you towards spending more. And the 1 terabyte fold at over $2,000? That's still a jaw-dropper, even if it undercuts Samsung. But compared to the inflation we've seen across the industry, holding prices steady is almost a win. And there's another layer here. Pricing leaks like this don't just set expectations, they shape perception. If people walk into Google's event already knowing prices aren't going up, then the conversation shifts to features, design, and AI. It's almost like Google is saying, don't worry about the money, focus on what these devices can actually do. That could be a clever way to build hype without actually slashing prices. Personally, I think this is Google signaling maturity in its hardware game. The Pixel 10 series, Pixel Watch 4, and even the Buds aren't about shaking up the price equation, they're about strengthening the ecosystem. If you're already a Pixel user, it's easier to stay locked in. If you're on the fence, the predictable pricing makes it easier to justify the switch. The real question is whether Google has packed in enough upgrades in performance, AI features, and ecosystem polish to make these same price devices feel like a leap forward. Because in 2025, people aren't just shopping based on hardware anymore. It's all about the experience. And if Google nails that, then keeping prices flat could be the smartest play of all. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.